Okay, this is Andrea, from the PIN Patient Empowerment Network. She is the executive director.
Thanks, Summer. Thanks, everybody, for being here tonight. As Summer said, my name is Andrea Connors, and I'm the executive director of Patient Empowerment Network, also known as PEN. So again, I want to thank you all for being here tonight and for supporting Summer's comedy show, which is a fundraiser for our nonprofit organization. I read the tributes that many of you included with your donations, and I know that beating cancer and supporting our friends and family with cancer is incredibly important and very personal to many of you. It's important and personal to me too, and to everyone at Patient Empowerment Network. Your donations will help create free online resources that will educate and activate cancer patients and their care partners to achieve better treatment outcomes. Summer and Jeff are beloved network managers at Patient Empowerment Network. We are so grateful to have their talents on our team, and we're so honored to be the beneficiary of this fundraiser tonight. So on behalf of Patient Empowerment Network, I want to thank Summer and Jeff for all of their hard work in making tonight possible. And of course, I want to thank tonight's comedians, Lara, Josie, Kat, Karen, Mickey, and of course, Summer herself. So with that, I'll turn it back to Summer, and I'll just say break a leg and have fun tonight, everybody. Thanks so much.
These pills cost, I have the date written here, $19,035 for 1 month.
Oh my
So their pills are something like $300 a piece. I don't know, but it's something like that. What if I lost one? Would I put an ad in Facebook with a reward? Theoretically, and they look like aspirin tablets. You could take dozens of them, die of stomach poison before you would die of myelofibrosis. And I'm also thinking, all that money, if I have any left over, I could sell them to drug dealers.
Go.
And dizziness could be the new high. For a while, my doctor was talking about a bone marrow transplant. And as grateful as I'd be to the donor, I don't think I could handle that. When I go to stay in a hotel, I have to bring my own sheets. And it's a lot of bit close comfort for my blood and somebody else's bone marrow. Yuck. And the nurse from the drug organization calls me once a month. She's really nice, but I think she's just checking to see if I'm still around. Kind of like the morning body count at a retirement home. I've become a hypochondriac since this. I Google everything. I learned a lot. Crohn's disease, it's nothing to do with witches or old ladies. When I first started taking this drug, I was taking a comedy class, an improv class from National Comedy Theater, and they really emphasized high energy. So they kept telling me, "Oh, Summer, you have such high energy." Well, little did they know, I just took a pill and I'm trying to keep my balance. When I got this diagnosis, I went to my improv rehearsal, and the coach said, "Well, today we're going to talk about how our day is going and put it into our scenes." Oh, well, this is how my day is going. I just found out I have incurable cancer. He just looked at me.
No, will.
Will you be back next week? That was 3 weeks ago. I took the advice from an expert and I signed up for Tai Chi classes, but they were very slow and the music had no beat. The students were very disciplined and focused. And the teacher kept saying, "You're going too fast." So I went back to karate, combat, and kickboxing. I was in Old Navy trying on new jeans, skinny jeans. They're kind of out of style now, but how many of you are wearing them right now? Anyway, I was trying on skinny jeans, and this old elderly, but she was about my age, approached, and she said, "We're too old for skinny jeans." Actually, that's not the way old people talk. I've never talked like that in my life. But people imitating old people, millennials, they always talk like that. But have you ever heard an old person talk like that? I have.
No.
Well,
Nope.
Nobody's ever heard that, right?
No.
So I said to her, "Listen, lady, don't mess with me. I take karate combat. Don't fool with me. And I have a lot of living to do." And let's see, how do I do this? I'm going to introduce the next comic. That is Karen Tossin, who's really funny, and she has really good stories to tell. So take it away, Karen Tossin.
Well, hi, everybody. I'm here in Florida, and it's actually dark, and it's beautiful. Normally, it's sunny. And this is my second time around with having cancer, so you'd think I know a lot. And as it turns out, I know less this time than I did the last time. You know, when my doctor called me and she said, "Well, you know, I hate to tell you this, but you have breast cancer." I said, "Wow, after 20 years, I got it again." I kind of freaked out. Have you all tried to find a wig? I gave all my wigs away.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Buying a wig, you just put that right up there with eyeglass frames, with jeans, bathing suit. And now I got to go out and buy new wigs again.
Oh.
So she said, "Oh, don't be so freaked out." She said, "Everything is different now. The advanced technology, it's really going to be easy." And my thought, are you kidding? Easy and technology in the same sentence? I am the most technically challenged. You know, for example, I had to go see the surgeon, and I asked the little techie girl at the front desk, I said, "Can you give me a copy of my breast biopsy?" And she said, "Oh, well, that'll be in your portal." My what?
Oh, yeah.
Your portal. Patients have a portal. And I'm thinking, geez, the last time I was in a port, I was going to the Bahamas on a cruise. I said, "Is this some kind of a tea thing?" And she said, "Oh, it's really easy. I can fix you up with it. Give me your phone." I said, "Okay." So I gave her my phone. And she looked at my phone and she kind of said, "Do you have a computer at home?" And I said, "I do." She said, "I'll call you later and we'll get that up on your computer." And I personally think she didn't have a clue how to use my phone. So what happened was she did call me later that afternoon, and she said, "Hi, and what is your operating system?" I said, "Oh, you know what? I haven't had breast surgery in 20 years. So whatever system the doctor wants to use for operating is fine with me." She said, "No, it's a computer thing." And I said, "Oh, here we go again. I thought it was going to be easier this time." So after almost a half an hour, we got all set up with all the questions and the passwords and what was your cat's name and your dog's name and your mother's name. And anyway, I got all set up and I said, "Okay, where's my biopsy?" And she said, "Well, it's not there yet. I have to put it in. So check again tomorrow and it'll be there." So I did. I checked the next day and I happened to lock myself out. And I wasn't going to go through all that again. So I just called her up and I said, why don't you just mail me my biopsy? So she did. And a couple of weeks later, it came. And even though I'm a nurse, there were a couple of medical terms that I didn't quite understand. So I thought, well, I can just look those up. Well, I found something really frightening about Google. There's a lot of old information there. You got to check the dates because some of the things that I was reading had me dead.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, this is way too much information. Maybe I should go on Facebook. Somebody said Facebook has a lot of good medical information. But
Yeah.
now I'm
Oh, no.
I'm in jail so many times on Facebook that really wouldn't work out for me. So anybody here on Nextdoor? That's the
Yeah.
social media in your neighborhood?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
it can have a lot of good, useful information. You know, like if you lost your dog or you're looking for a handyman or borrow something. There was a lady who wanted to borrow a stroller for the weekend because her grandchildren were coming. And she got some interesting answers because usually they're helpful. Sometimes they're not. The first one was, oh, geez, I had one and I threw it out last week. That's helpful. Next person says, I think I have one somewhere. Let me look for it. Oh, that's helpful. Well, then another one said, for God's sakes, make those kids walk. That's what's wrong with kids today. They don't get enough exercise. No wonder they're not healthy. Ah, good. I have a medical opinion here. And I have found, once you start a thread on medical on Nextdoor, you have more medical experts than any hospital in the world.
Yeah.
And in the end, it all comes down to one thing. Do you wear a mask or not? Right? And I never answered that question because I would say I got cancer because I did wear a mask or I got cancer because I didn't wear a mask. The thing I'd like to say though is you do get a whole different perspective on life when you have cancer. You know, I needed a new birth and the guy came out and she had all these shingles and okay. He says, okay, I can give you a really heavy duty shingle and for $500 more, and I can extend your warranty for another 5 years. And I said, well, I have a better idea. Why don't you give me some cheaper shingle? Knock off $500 and give me a 5-year less warranty. Because I'm not going to need it. And I'm one of these people that when they call me and tell me my car warranty is running out, I don't care. I've already outlived my life expectancy according to WebMD. And finally, one thing I would like to say is that if I'm walking down the street or anywhere and you look at me and make a judgment if I'm wearing my black fishnet house and black, I will look you straight in the face and say, I have cancer. Thank you, Joe Biden, for that. Good night, everybody.
Getting a lot of feedback. Thank you.
All right. Let's see.
It was hard to hear.
What's it?
I know. Yeah.
Hard. We apologize.
Oh, that's all right. Maybe there was a lot of
There's a whole
background.
lot of talking going on.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
People should probably mute themselves.
Yeah, everybody go ahead and mute yourself.
Please.
Yeah. I can just imagine, Karen, you look darling in fishnets and a short skirt. When I visit you, we should wear those out.
He didn't hear you say
You
mute
got me
yourself.
on mute too, Jeff.
Oh. Well,
No, I
unmute
heard.
yourself.
Oh, okay. So anyway, where I met Karen, we took a comedy class together, and I saw your very first performance, Karen, remember? And that
Yes.
inspired me to try that. I admired your show so much, I went and I did it. So thanks to Karen, she was my inspiration. And our next comedian, Jeff, is, just a minute, we're having technical problems.
Next is Mickey.
I know, but you still got Karen in the main thing. That's what
Okay.
I'm waiting for. So put me there.
There you go.
Okay.
Hi, Holly Ritter.
Oh, you've got Mickey. Okay, I was going to introduce Mickey. Mickey is so active and full of fun, and she has a great story. So let's take it away from Mickey. Yay!
Yay.
You're on, Mickey.
Oh, thank you. In my mind, I hear this jitterbug music. I hear it everywhere I go. It just makes me do my happy dance. When I was 5 years old, the neighbors, they knew I couldn't sit still, and so they started calling me Jitterbug. Jitterbug I thought was really cute because it had to look like a ladybug, and we all know that ladybugs are cute, and they bring us good luck when we blow them off of our hands. It was at this time that I met, and she brought me good luck, my friend Pat. She was 4 and I was 5. Our backyards, hers was here and mine was here, and it was separated by an alley. And so we would go back and forth throughout the day. Both of our moms stayed home, and so we didn't have any problem with somebody watching out to make sure everything was okay. And we got along very well for a lot of years. And today, Pat and I are still good friends, which is a really nice thing to do.
She's on.
One day I knocked on Pat's door and her mom answered it, of course. And I said, can Pat come out and play? And she said, no, she's sick. And I said, well, can I come and
that's
see
how it
her?
would be like soon.
And
I
she
don't know why I
said,
picture them
no.
standing on like a stage.
And I
Duh.
said,
This must be.
why? What's wrong? And I went home and I wrote my very first poem. I was 8 years old, and it was a letter to my dear friend Pat. And it said, dear Pat, I hope that you get better because this is nice warm weather.
Oh, okay.
And I brought it over to Pat's mom and I said, please read this to Pat. And she did. Well, Pat got better. She didn't have polio, of course, in the 50s we couldn't talk about because it was the most dreaded thing. No matter what your age was, you got it. Well, today, luckily, there's a lot of control globally for polio, but there's still some polio in the world, I'm sorry to say. With my friendship with Pat, I learned a lot. She taught me the value of words, that caring was important, listening was important, and kindness overrides all of that, but includes that. Here it is 70 some years later, and Ron and I are still very happily married, not for 70 years, but for a lot of years. One day on our typical walk along the beach, I told him, oh my gosh, I am so tired. I can't understand what's going on. I just have to go home and go to bed. And he said, okay, we'll go home. So I had some things that I had to do that night, but I just couldn't do them. So I went to bed. And the next day I was still totally exhausted. So he said, we're going to call the doctor. So we called the doctor, and the doctor says, well, you haven't had any lab work done in a long time. Let's get some lab work done. And I said, okay. what are we going to do? And he said, well, let's get some blood tests. And I says, okay, well, I have a $25 copay. So along with the usual blood test, can we do some other things too? I mean, $25, well, it's not a lot, and I really shouldn't be thinking about it. I am frugal. And so he said, okay, we'll take some extra tests too. So the $25 was well spent. A few days later, my doctor called to say that I was severely anemic. More tests were needed. What do you mean more tests are needed? He says, well, you have internal bleeding somewhere. And I says, okay, what does that mean? He says, well, we have more tests. And I said, so it's another copay of $25? Again, I'm fiscally prudent. And he said, well, you need a colonoscopy. And I says, it's only been 7 years since I've had a colonoscopy. They're supposed to last for 10. What gives with that? And he says, well, sometimes we need to start there. And I said, since we're going to be doing a colonoscopy, why don't we do something else along with that? I mean, it's the same copay, and I am fiscally concerned. And he suggested, okay, we'll do an endoscopy and a colonoscopy. And I says, wait a minute, that's one end and then the other. How could you do that? He says, we'll do it. And I says, okay, 2 for the price of 1. That's a bargain. Now you're going to say, okay, what's the difference between frugal and cheap? Frugal, I want the most for my money, and I'm not going to waste my money, and I'll do what I have to do. Cheap says, I don't want to spend a lot of money. I really need this, but can we negotiate a smaller price? Everything's negotiable, isn't it? Well, truly, maybe not everything. The colonoscopy, endoscopy, boy, those are 2 big words, were scheduled in late July, and everything went well, at least as far as I was concerned, since I was out. I was waking up groggy, and the doctor, Dr. Poon. Now, I got to tell you, that is some name for a doctor who does colonoscopy. If you take off the N, it's P-O-O. Isn't that what's in your colon? Anyhow, Dr. Poon was explaining why they did not do the endoscopy. He found a mass on my colon, and with his experience, that always, well, usually meant cancer. He did a biopsy, and it would take 3 days to get it back from the pathology department. Groggy, I turned to the nurse and I tugged at her sleeve and I said, it can't be cancer. With cancer, you lose weight. I've been gaining weight. 3 days later, Dr. Pooh called to schedule a consultation. We met. It was cancer. Stage 2, it was caught early enough. Then he described the surgery, and it was scheduled for early September. Now the surgery, you have about 165 inches of intestine. Surgery would be to take out 12 of those inches. Me being frugal, I said, since we're there, why don't we take out a few more? Maybe I could lose some weight with this. So he said, okay, we'll take out a little more on each side. He also said, we're going to take out about a dozen lymph nodes all around it just to make sure. And I said, while we're there, the same copay, let's do a few more. He says, okay. He sent us on our way with some pictures. I didn't need the pictures. After Ron and I got home, I did some errands. In my parked car, in the parking lot of our neighborhood park, I sat there crying and yelling and punching the air. Cancer! I said the word, oh my gosh. I said it over and over and over. Cancer, 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 cancer. And And then it started taking on a different meaning. Cancer. Can, sir. Can I? Sir. No, can't. Sir. Now it was almost humorous, and I'm playing with the word. I'm no longer afraid of this word cancer. I now started to know I had cancer. It didn't have me.
There you go.
Then I went to Costco. That's my go-to place. And I rolled my walker, I mean my cart, over to the shoe area. And here it is in July. And they have rain and snow boots. And I'm saying, wow, in San Diego, they sell rain snow boots? But I had to have them. They were a bargain. Remember, I'm frugal. So I had to have them. When I got home, Ron asked, why did I buy the rain boots, the snow boots? And I says, well, it's an investment. You see, I think I will be jumping in puddles again. I think I'll experience snow again. It was something to look forward to. Something just as simple as that. Today, I am cancer-free. I have biopsies done routinely, and yay, and each time they come up benign, I do my jitterbug dance. Again, the jitterbug is always in my head. I have two favorite seasons, winter and summer. Winter, I get to wear my rain, snow boots. Summer, not so. Winter, I get to eat warm and cozy foods. Summer, not so. Winter, I get to stay indoors and watch the weather nourish the earth. Summer, not so. Winter, I get to go to bed early. Summer, not so. Summer re-energizes my soul. Both have remarkable golden sunrises and golden sunsets. I truly cannot tell you which of these two seasons are my favorite. The other two seasons, not so. Meeting with Summer Golden and Jeff Bushnell several days after my detoxification of the cancer word. It was so appropriate. Summer asked in her usual fashion, because she's so concerned about everybody. She's the sweetest, sorry about that, Summer, but you really are one of the sweetest people I've ever known.
Yeah.
And before I knew it, I just cried and blurted out that I have cancer. Summer and Jeff hugged me, explained that Summer had cancer also. And I'll never forget how they made me feel that I was not alone, that there were people to understand, people I could talk to, people who could guide me on how to maneuver my way through this process. She was my golden sunrise and sunset. She was my new pat. We all need a pat on the back. Thank you.
Oh,
Bless you. God bless you.
well
Thank
done.
you. Wow. That was so nice. Thank you for saying those things. And it's very moving when I hear you say that. So thank you. I think we've all earned a lot. Wow, that was great. Next, we have someone who is very funny, very subtle, and I met her when she was doing the comedy and lining up comedians at the Space Bar. And I thought, and I still do think she's very funny, very subtle. Kat McCoy.
Hey, go ahead.
Hey.
Yeah. Come on, Kat.
Well, you know, it was just a few years ago, and it was Christmas Eve, and it was 4:00, and I was helping my daughter with her annual Christmas Eve evening plans for dinner, and the phone rang, my cell phone rang, and I thought, that's my sister. She's calling to wish me a Merry Christmas. She always calls me on Christmas Eve. No, it was this gynecologist calling me. She said, I didn't want the holidays to go by without letting you know that we got the test results back and you have uterine cancer. I said, oh, and she said, I want you to call the oncologist right after the holidays. And I said, okay. And I said, is there anything else? And she said, well, just one thing. I just want to wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
So that's how I found out. But it turned out, okay, I had hysterectomy on February 11th. And then I was one of the lucky ones. I haven't had any problems since, and that's been a few years ago. When she said there were signs of cancer, I said, that can't be. I'm a Sagittarian. I've known that for years. No way. But I'm here today to say to all of you that it's never too late and you're never too young to make a total fool out of yourself in front of other people. That's what I'm doing. Actually, I had to work on my self-esteem to be able to do this. Mine was too high. That's because I have a lot of class. See the bags under my eyes? They're Gucci.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, the doctor told me I should get 8 hours of sleep, and I said that's not a problem. Take me about 3 days.
Oh.
60 is the new 40, they said. Yeah, well, 9 o'clock is the new midnight. The older I get, the earlier late is. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I've had my patience tested. I'm negative. That's because I'm getting older. I actually feel like I'm pretty balanced. I have a chip on both shoulders. I think
Still
it's
cute
because
as
I
hell,
was home church. I didn't have baths when I was a kid. I was baptized every night. That's what happens when you're home church. But anyway, I think cancer is a very lonely thing. My echo didn't even come back to me. I'm so lonely. I quit paying my bills. I knew somebody'd call me. Oh, dear. I'd be such a good friend if I had one.
Oh.
Oh, don't cry. The last time a man asked me out, I was in his room.
No.
I just think it'd be nice to have someone to go to dinner with or maybe see a movie. Problem is, movies are so violent, some of them. I really think the hero in some of those movies is the person who sits through it. That's what I think. They're the hero. Don't really care much for sex in the movies. Last time I tried it, the chair folded up.
Oh.
No, I tried to say nice things, like I told this one man, I really liked your tie. I liked it when I saw it at the dollar store too. It was pretty. I hope you'll call me again, or better yet, have your son call me.
Ooh.
I'm evil. I'm single. I'm evil.
Hey now.
But I'm learning, I don't eat organic food anymore. Don't eat organic food. At my age, you need all the preservatives you can get.
I hear you, girlfriend.
If you're gonna drink responsibly. Don't spill it.
Weird.
Agreed.
See, the one thing that we all have in common, all of us, is that none of us know what I'll say next. I don't. How would you know? Well, people want to know how old I am, and I just tell them, my age, stone. That's it.
Yeah.
Isn't that close enough?
Yes.
Well, I'm nobody's fool. I don't feel like I'm anybody's fool. I freelance, actually. I can't wear perfume. I have to wear a repellent.
Oh.
If I want someone to think I can afford a swimming pool, I just dab a little chlorine back. Chlorine.
There you go.
I live in San Diego. That's where we all sit around our swimming pools and discuss water conservation. Well, I have trouble with, like, when someone tries to give me directions, they use these really weird words, you know, like east, south. I don't understand that kind of talk, you know. Cannabis is, some people say take cannabis, it'll relax, you know, medical marijuana.
Yeah.
I think Congress had a joint session. Politics to me is kind of like sex. You don't have to be really good at it to enjoy it. You know, if you leave a party, you're considered a traitor. But if you join a party, you're a convert. I mean, you could be both in the same, you could change your party and you could be a traitor and a convert in the same day, but that's okay. Some of you, I believe, are Republicans just because your parents were Republicans. That's what I think. And some of you are Democrats just because your parents were Republicans. I had dinner with Summer one time, and she fixed a turkey, and I knew it was a Republican turkey because it had 2 right wings. Oh dear. I think I swallowed a doorknob because my stomach is turning.
Oh God. Oh God.
Oh. No, my doctor said, you know, to tell him if I had any new symptoms. And I said, well, the last time I saw him, I said, well, I had this ringing in my ears. Well, don't answer it.
Okay.
What do I do if I get run down? And he said, well, I'd take down the license plate.
Ooh.
He asked me if I felt dull and listless. I said, dull and listless? If I felt that good, I wouldn't be here. No, I told the doctor, I said, you know, if you can get me through this, I said, I know you're building a new wing, a new oncology wing on the hospital, and I'll donate. I'll find the way, and I'll donate $1 million if you can just get me well. Well, I got better.
I didn't.
I ran into him one day, and he goes, "Oh, I was going to call you." I said, "Oh, is my cancer back?" No. He said it was about that donation you're going to make. No, I said I was making a donation. He said, yeah, you were going to donate $1 million. I said, "Do you see how sick I really was?" So I said that. If we spend as much money on research as we do get well cards, I think we'd conquer cancer, don't you? It's just
Yep.
too much money on get well cards. I look at it this way. When you're born, you got 2 chances. You're either going to get cancer or you're not. If you get cancer, you got 2 chances. One is it won't be too bad, and one that could be pretty bad. Well, there again, you got 2 chances. You're either going to make it or you're not. But according to my pastor, if you don't make it, you've still got 2 chances. I've noticed that when people say cancer, a lot of times they whisper, you know, like she has cancer. Kind of like when, who was it that was talking about polio? Same thing, cancer. And you think, and then I started listening, and it's like there's a lot of C words that people whisper. Some you can think of that I can't say. But one's like, you know, she probably has cancer because she spends so much time, you know, smoking cigarettes. Yeah. And her son has cocaine. He does cocaine. And her daughter's pregnant again. Guess why? Because she doesn't know what to do with a condom. And what's really weird about all of that is her husband is a cop. See all those C words. And anyway, I hope that you'll all be just, you know, if you have cancer, I hope you get over it. If you're healthy, God bless you. And you know, I hope you'll remember Kat McCoy because she thinks she's such a comedian. Thank you.
Great job. Congratulations.
Great, Kathleen.
Thank you.
Wow, she's so much fun and brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. This is my dog. She wouldn't stay out. Anyway, okay.
Betty.
No, that's not Betty. That's Zelda. I won't go on and on about this. She's German.
Oh.
So I tell my students she doesn't speak English. She just speaks German.
Yeah.
So
Ach du
anyway,
Lieber.
I loved your act, Kat. And next we have a woman that I think I took Tony together. Laura. And Laura I always thought was pretty outrageous and she's really fun. So take it away from Laura. Is she there? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Hi, Laura.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
And thank you, Summer, for having me. I even put on makeup for you.
You-
Yeah, that's one thing I've noticed about this COVID stuff. I've saved a lot of money on lipstick and eyeshadow.
Amen.
No one's seeing me anyway. No, anyway. Thank you for having me. This is really cool. I almost feel like I'm cheating. Yes, I'm a cancer survivor. Woo woo. Okay. It was 12 years ago now. Okay. Matter of fact, I just got notice I have to go get my other mammogram this year. That's always fun having a oh gosh, that's not fun, but the mammogram found my cancer. I got really lucky. I got breast cancer. I know that sounds really funny. You say I got lucky, I got breast cancer. Well, okay, let me backtrack and say why I got lucky and got breast cancer. I got it really early. Okay. Really minimal amount of treatment. I only had to have some radiation, no chemo. I didn't lose my hair. Okay. Okay. This was really, oh, okay. This was really interesting. When my doctor called me, you know, she goes, I'm sorry to say, but you got cancer. And first I'm like, okay, I'm all, well, boo-hoo. Okay, let's do this. How bad is it? Not so bad. You got it really early. You got just really small first stages, and it's on your left side. All we have to do is do a lumpectomy. And I'm all, really?
Oh, shit.
My left side? Okay, I have had an issue all my life of being extremely uneven. Okay, my left bajinga booble was a lot bigger than my right bajinga booble. Okay, and it was frustrating because, you know, even the bra, you could kind of tell, whatever. So I kind of jokingly said to the doctor, I go, really? This is the bigger boob, doc. Can you even them up? She did. Oh my God. It used to be like this. Now I swear, 2 shifts in the night. I have the most Gucci's for a 61-year-old woman you'd ever want to know. I swear. But
Yeah.
I started writing jokes again, and I go every week or whatever. What's my weekly joke? But I remember when they put me under the surgery, you know, in the surgery, they knock you out, whatever. All I know is I woke up and I have this weird thing, this subliminal thing of I like to write parody songs. I've even nicknamed myself Weird Al Yankovic. Okay, sound like Weird Al? But I'm Weird Al Yankovic. Yeah, I've got an album.
Oh, God.
Okay, but I just subliminally, half goo goo gaga, I wake up, I look down at my boob. Well, they have to dye it so they can see where it's going. And all I did is I looked down at my boob and went, blue boob. Standing alone.
Stop it. Stop it.
Blue, 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 mama, mammarie. And I just threw up and went back to sleep. But that was my experience. So like I said, even hoochie woochies, how lucky am I? No, but I got it really early. Yeah. But anyway, enough with the cancer stuff. Let's talk about some fun stuff like what I'm doing now. Okay. I do cat rescue. Okay. See this right up there? That's a painting of all my kitties and duplicated it right here on my even boobies, the one line, boom.
Oh, yeah.
All my kitties. I've rescued 9 kitties. And just for fun, okay, this started normal as 2 cats that were named already. This is Mama and Thomas. Typical mama cat, tom cat, right? Then I rescued Tapatio, then Tabasco, then Sriracha. They're brothers. Okay. Then I got their mama, who is Shishito. And then I got Gin Gin and Pepper. So I ended up with 9 kitties. And right now I've got one in my kennel that was injured. So I'm fostering right now. I have 10 cats. 10 cats.
Wow.
Well, what's really weird is that I actually have a husband too. What? Crazy cat lady with a husband. Okay. I got really, really lucky. Well, I do TNR. It's called Travel Due to Return. It's I go into a cat colony and I scope them out and I get their trust and I tempt them for all their favorite little things. Then I trap them and I get their little nuances, whatsies cut off. And then I put them back into their colony unless they're able to be homed. Okay? I kind of did the same thing with my husband. Tempted him with all those fun things. And I basically, well, you know what? I didn't turn him back. I decided to go ahead and keep him. But what's funny about my husband is I met him very late. Okay. I was 37 and he was 36. Okay. I'll backtrack a little bit. I'm an actor here in San Diego, so I'm pretty much unemployed. But I had a gig, you know, a few years back where I was in a movie, right? And I saw this really cute sound guy, and I'm like, okay, number one, he's got a job. We're in a movie together. He's the sound guy. I started talking to him. He smiled. He had all his teeth. What? Then it wasn't a wig. He had all his hair. I hit the trifecta. He didn't want kids. He loves cats. Oh my God. This is so cool. So here, and get this. Okay. Finally, 9 years later, we get married, right? So I'm kind of thinking it's kind of cool where I'm all my husband. He's 6 years younger than me. I'm a cougar. You know, and he's got a really good job. I don't really have to work. I'm a trophy cougar. Sweet.
Yeah.
Trophy cougar. So I'm couging. So I'm having fun with my girlfriend. We're having lunch, my buzzkill friend, Cindy. So I'm looking at her and I'm really stoked because you know what? My husband's a lot younger than me. We finally got married. I'm a coug. And she looks at me and goes, Laura, you know, 6 years doesn't make you a cougar. It's only 6 years younger. And I'm looking at her going, oh, okay, fine, Cindy. So my husband's only 6 years younger than me. My boyfriend's 25.
Yeah.
My husband just went to go dinner. He didn't hear that. Don't worry. That's kidding. No, but anyway, what's fun about I kind of want to kind of grasp getting older, but it kind of sucks. You know what I mean? I'm 61. And then right when I turned 60, all this freaking COVID stuff happened and I couldn't go out anymore. I couldn't go get my freaking senior discount. I couldn't go to Coco's and flip that menu over and go, discount. It sucked. Couldn't go get my early bird special. Okay, so now I've turned 61, so I gotta own this stuff, right? So I thought this is kind of, you know, fun to brag about it. Well, okay, a girlfriend of mine goes, you know what, Laura? You look really good for 61. What's your secret? What do you do? And I went, well, you know what? It's pretty simple, okay? I exercise, I eat right, okay, and I get a lot of rest. Delen, Juvederm, Botox. That's right. I have more fillers in my face than I can pronounce. That's right. Matter of fact, Botox is a girl's best friend. Okay. Back to that Weird Al thing. I wrote a whole song. Okay, you all know, okay, the song Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the song goes to that. Okay, so get in your head. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. Okay, so I'm going to sing a couple of verses. I won't sing the whole song because I don't have that much time. Okay. There may come a time when a hands-on employer won't give you the job because your face looks like a blob. Men grow cold as we get old, but we all wrinkle up in the end. But with haircuts and manscapes, my face won't lose its shape because Botox is a girl's best friend. I know it's kind of silly, but it really is the best friend. You know, I know things don't move. You know what? It's funny. I call it the sisterhood of the injected face. We all scope each other out, right? I can usually spot somebody that's had work done. I can usually go, her face isn't moving. She's had work done. Sisterhood. Right? So I was talking to this lady that obviously had a butt shit of work done. I mean, excuse my language, sorry. But ton of work done. Okay. So I'm talking to her going, gosh, I love my Botox girl. She's the best. Okay. Someone's phone is ringing.
I'm not here.
That's my phone. You're
Sorry.
blowing my punchline.
Oh, how do I do it?
Someone shut the phone, please.
My
Okay.
God.
So,
Sorry.
where was I? Okay.
You're
So-
gonna-
Botox.
Okay. So she looks at me. She looks at me literally stone faced, pun intended, like this. What do you mean? I've never had any work done. Ever. My face has always looked like this.
Oh God.
I'm like, yeah, okay, all right. I'm saying sisterhood. But anyway, I know. No, but what I like doing is there's many things I thank, okay, because I thank lasers, okay? Laser hair removal specifically, okay? Lasers have saved my life. I used to have a beard and a mustache, okay? And Happy Trail, that wasn't very happy. I mean, I had to manscape myself, literally manscape myself. It sucked. So thanks to laser, I'm smooth as a baby's booty. Yes, thank God. Lasers don't work really good though on those veins on your legs, those horrible spider veins. Okay. The good thing about that is that if I get lost, I can just pull over. I don't need my GPS. I'll just look up my left. I can look at it. Street goes that way, street goes that way. No, and then between the glasses and the hearing aid, I wear a hearing aid. You know how awful that is? I can't hug anybody because of feedback. I go like this. No, it's terrible. So between that, oh, and this is my other favorite thing. Hello. What the? My mom used to call it her second wave or her chicken wing. Okay. Sorry. No matter how many kickbacks you do, it's like, oh no, she mastered. You know what she did? She mastered the queen wave. Mastered the queen wave. That's right. You wave like this. That's right. But anyway, what else? Okay, who's it? Like, I just want to have some fun. You know what? Okay, I'll wrap this one up with a little bit of more of Weird Al Yankovic. Okay, all right. Do you guys all know who Prince is? Prince, unfortunately, he passed away 5 years ago. Prince, Purple Rain. You know Prince, right?
Yes.
Come on, people.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so here's my tribute to Prince. Okay, I'm gonna leave couple songs. I'll leave you with. Okay.
Do it.
Okay, I know, and then I remember one other thing I want to complain about my oldness. No, okay. Before I do the song real quick, you know what pisses me off? I know I'm getting old when my teenage heartthrob William Shatner is doing CPAP commercials. Okay. And then my heartthrob when I was in my 20s, Tom Selleck, Magnum PI, is selling reverse mortgages. Oh my God, I'm getting old. Now, the worst thing to ever happen, my heartthrob when I was in my 30s was Fabio. If Fabio starts selling Rogaine, I'm going to be very upset.
Yeah.
Give it time.
So anyway, that was just one thing I had to throw in there. I could talk about my crazy mother too, but I'll just stick to my songs. Okay. Now we all know the song Purple Rain. Okay, just think that you're in concert and wave your lighter around. Purple Rain. Okay, so think that. Purple veins, those ugly little spider veins. Yeah. They're so ugly and they're such a pain. I'd wear shorts more often if I didn't have purple veins. That's my tribute to Prince. I wrote that the day after he passed away. God bless his soul. Anyway, don't worry. No college tuitions have been compromised by my Botox addiction. I just wanted to add that to you. I don't have kids. Okay, so I'm going to leave you with my other favorite tribute. Okay, do you all know the Beyonce song, Single Ladies? Put a
Yeah.
ring on it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if you don't, it goes all the single ladies. Okay, I've rewritten it too, to fit me. Here we go. Sing it with me if you can. Okay. All the senior ladies, all the senior ladies, all the senior ladies, all the senior ladies. Put your hands up. Oh, no, don't put your hands up. You won't like it, but you're gonna grow a wing on it. You won't like it, but you're gonna grow a wing on it. Thank you, Summer. Thank you for having me. Thank you for listening to my crazy.
Thank you.
Hey, we love you. You're so full of energy. And I don't think you're 61. I think you're a lot younger.
You're very sweet. Thank God for Botox.
Not good because you look so much younger than that. Our next comedian, I saw her on YouTube. She's in Vermont, and I thought, well, she's really good, and I really liked her, everything she said, and so I wrote to her, and she is professional and a teacher and teaches comedy, does comedy, but she agreed, and so I'm real happy to have her. My dog, if I don't hold her, she's walking around upset. Anyway, so let's take it away for Josie Levitt.
Everybody.
Hey.
Hey.
Let's hear it for all the other performers. It's been a really fun.
Yes, very good
Woo!
job. Great
I
job.
apologize for not having my video on. I'm in a barn in Vermont. I felt like I needed to conserve whatever internet I have going on right now. Yeah, so I found out I had cancer in the parking lot of Lowe's. Not what I was expecting, especially since I don't go to Lowe's that often. And I'm gonna back up. I like to lead with that, but I had skipped my mammogram for almost 4 years. Because I got divorced, I changed careers, like life just, there was always a reason why I was like, no, I don't need to go. So I finally go, and I'm nervous because I'd had a couple biopsies before. I have a titanium clip in my right boob that's always like sets off every alarm in the airport. And I'm like, no, it's the boob. Please just, feel it. But now that I'm not, I'm like, back off. And so I go get my mammogram, and I'm like, and I leave, and I don't feel good about it. Like, I just feel like something's off. And they say to me, okay, we're going to call you. You're either going to get a letter, or we're going to call you if we need to see you again. I said, okay, great. And that was like on a Wednesday, maybe a Tuesday. So nothing happens Wednesday, nothing happens Thursday, nothing happens Friday. And I'm like, I'm fine. They haven't called me. Monday, they still haven't called me. I'm in Vermont, and the best candy here is called Lake Champlain chocolate. And I'm in Lake Champlain chocolate. I'm stressed buying candy because I'm like, I haven't gotten a letter. I haven't heard anything. And it's right before I had to go to a meeting with the Department of Health to talk about a breast cancer early screening for the LGBT community. And I was like, and I'm buying candy, and my phone rings, and it's the hospital. And I'm like, and the guy's like, yo, $27. I'm like, I bought one candy. Expensive candy in Vermont. So I'm literally paying him while I'm on the phone, and the woman is saying, we want you to come back for an ultrasound, another mammogram, and a biopsy. I'm like, whoa, back up. A biopsy? Like, really? She said, we just want to block it all so you don't have to come back twice. And inside I'm thinking, this has never happened before. And, I'm one of those people who thinks like, I'm going to be that great medical patient who remembers everything just off the top of my head. So I didn't write anything down, this woman said. And I thought she said I had lobular tissue. And my mom had lobular breast cancer. So I was like, oh my God, lobular tissue. And then finally, I go to my appointment, and the woman said, okay, so we're going to really take a look at the glandular tissue. I'm like, it's glandular? And it's just worried needlessly. So I go, I have the other mammogram, I have the ultrasound, and then I'm at a teaching hospital at the University of Vermont Medical Center. It's a teaching hospital, and it's biopsy time. And it's me and my partner, and she's sort of behind me, and then the sonographer, who is actually a friend of mine, and then in walks like a clown car of people. I'm like, who are all of you? There was a resident, which is basically a medical student. There was an attending, and then there was a patient care advocate. And I said, do I need you yet? Like, yet? Like what's going on? And she said, I'm here to give you whatever you need. And so she starts rubbing my foot. It's just nice. The ultrasound rooms, they're dark, they're soothing. It's like getting a massage, but not. And it's always a little warm in there, and you just feel like, I feel at home here. Like I could stay here for hours because that's how long it took. So this resident, she's like, hi. And your biopsy. And I'm like, oh my God. And I said, how old are you? And she's like, yes. And I'm like, no, I'm asking you a question. She said, no, seriously, guess. No one ever guesses right. And I'm like, 8.5. What? Can you believe it? I'm like, no, can we get on with this? So, you know, the tumor's like under here, and you know, I get it. Ultrasound, I'm like, God bless the people who can read ultrasounds, because I don't get it. I just see gray. I see the moon is what I see. I'm like, oh, we've landed on the moon. And so my friend is a great ultrasound tech. She's just amazing. So she's doing her job. She's got the tumor lined up. And I remember I'd asked my general doctor, I said, what am I looking for? I said, do you see anything in this initial report that's alarming? And she said, no, I don't see the word spiculated, which would indicate it's likely, very likely that it's cancer. So I'm, I'm one of those patients who's like, just tell me, come on, what do you see? You know, and you could see from the ultrasound, if you knew how to read an ultrasound, that this was like 99% certain it was cancer. So, but the ultrasound tech, my friend Lisa said, here's what you ask them. What is your level of suspicion? That's good. That's great. So I didn't get to that yet, because the ultrasound, you know, it's an ultrasound guided biopsy, and the doctor, who we're just going to refer to now as Yippee Skippy, I'm going to do this, and they numb me up, which is great. And then she goes in, and you know, when you're doing a core biopsy, you've got to, I read about this because it was so horrible. You've got to get 2 millimeters away or centimeters away, and then you shoot this thing out through a tube, and it goes like, but if you don't line it up right, nothing's going to happen. And it's a lot like parallel parking in a boob. You line it up wrong to begin with, you're never going to get it right. It's just, you're not, it's impossible. So she's like, and I'm numb, but I can feel her tugging and pulling. And finally the attending says, no, go to your right. Just go to your right. And then she says, no, go to your other right. And I'm like, oh. So that was my, and I said, what's your level of suspicion? And she said, very high. And I said, you see anything spiculated? And she said, all of it. And I'm like, well, that's not what I was expecting. That was on a Wednesday. They said, you are not going to hear from us until Monday. And I thought, okay, fine. What am I going to do over the weekend to keep myself from losing my mind? I'm going to retile my bathroom because I don't know how to do that. And that's a really good. So I go to Lowe's and I go to the tile aisle. I picked out tile and I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. And it's aisle number 41 at Lowe's. And this woman, Veronica, was the manager of aisle 41. And she could tell I was like kind of tentative. And she said, girl, what do you need? I said, I want to tile my bathroom, but I don't really know how. And she just said, well, okay, we got this. She said, you can do this. She said, start with the big sponge. So I got the big sponge and I thought, I can do anything with this. Like everything's going to be, I've got the big sponge. I can clean up whatever mess I make. So then she says, you don't need a cart. You need the thing the contractors have. I'm like, oh, like I know what I'm doing. Oh my God. So she gives me backer board and grout and epoxy and tile, and my phone rings and I panic and my face turns white. And it was a robocall, but she said, are you okay?
Scan.
And I said, I'm waiting to hear about a biopsy result. And she looked at me with the warmest face and she said, I just signed my divorce papers today. And then we hugged each other in the middle of Lowe's. We were each alone in our own misery, but just like we needed to reach out, it was great. And then I get to my car and I'm like, I got this. My car smells like a construction site. I'm feeling really positive. And then my phone rings for realness. And it's Ellen from the breast care center. And she calls and she says, are you in a place you can talk? And I look around going, yeah, I'm at Lowe's. Yeah, I can talk. So, just, you have invasive ductal carcinoma. And I'm like, I need to write this down. And I could only find a copy of my old lease in a like faded purple Sharpie. So I'm just writing it down and I'm like, invasive ductal carcinoma, grade 2, moderate. and 2 centimeters or whatever, 1.5 centimeters. And I'm just writing all this down. And there's so much information that all I did was I circled the phrase invasive ductal carcinoma, and I made an arrow up above it. And I said, you have this. I was just getting like, and then there's this moment when you find out you have cancer. 2 things happen. First, you have to tell everybody. And then you realize, which is actually really lovely, how many people love you, because you're like, I have to make 5,000 phone calls. And this other thing happens. Well, okay, 3 things. And you get this immediate shot of clarity, because you're like, everything else falls away. It's like, I have cancer. I don't give a shit about, like, I've just dented my car. Was I not supposed to swear? I'm sorry. And and so like everything falls away. And then you realize very, very quickly, if you're me, you have the cancer card, which is amazing. It's like get out of jail free for anything you don't want to do. And no one can say anything because you have cancer.
That's true.
And it's the word that we whisper. And so, and everyone does whisper it. I'm like, just say it. Just say it. You got cancer. And it's really hard to say, like, oh my God, I have cancer. But the more I said it, the easier it got. It's like, okay, I have cancer. And I was sort of like, no one expects the Spanish Inquisition. And people who know Monty Python got it. And people who didn't are like, you are really weird. I'm like, I know. But then, so this weird thing happens when you tell people you have cancer, especially people you don't know well. They do a lot of this, arm squeezing, your forearm. They're like, you're gonna be okay. Really, you're gonna be just fine. And I'm like, A, you don't know that. B, stop touching me. And C, the reason touching me is, I think, partly to make a connection, but I also think partly there's this little tiny part of them that wants me to know that they know I'm not contagious.
Yeah.
It's always been like, I want to go like, now, of course, you can't do that because, that's, you go to jail now if you did that. So my partner and I, so I tell everybody, and everyone's like giving me advice, like what to do. And I used to have curly hair, but like down to my waist. And once I found out I had cancer, I did like 3 graduated haircuts. So my hair was just probably a little shorter than this, because I thought, I'm not going to lose my hair and be like completely freaked out that I've got, 3, literally like, but I felt like 3 feet of hair. It wasn't quite that much, but a lot of hair. And so I am getting all these short haircuts. Everyone's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm getting ready for chemo because I knew I needed chemo. And all these people are like, you're going to do chemo? Why? I mean, chemo's poison. The complete strangers at the coffee shop are like, chemo's poison. I'm like, yeah, I'm aware that chemo's poison. You know how I know that? Because they tell you it's poison. They don't miss a beat. How many people, show of hands if I can see you, had to go to chemo learning class? Okay, just me. I get, okay, a couple people. And you go to chemo learning class before your first round of chemo because they want to scare the shit out of you. But they also want to tell you what's going to happen. And they're like, by day 15, you will start to lose your hair. Days 3 and 5 after your infusion, you will feel this, 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 and this. If you get a fever over 100.3, go to the emergency room. I'm like, what if I get 100.2? They're like, you're fine. How's that possible? And I remember they said, you cannot exchange bodily fluids with anyone for 48 hours after your infusion. And my girlfriend and I looked at each other, and I guess we looked crestfallen. I with some look, and the nurse just thought like, no, it's okay. You can still cuddle. And I'm like, no, the fact like that something inside me for 48 hours, it could make my girlfriend sick if I kiss her. Like I can't kiss the woman I love after a round of chemo. Like that's what I know, it's poison. And people were, I'm not a slender person. People like, you shouldn't have any sugar. Are you having a scone? That's a bad idea. And then I lost my hair. And, I decided not to wear a wig because I knew I'd be like really worried if the wig would just like tip, and I'm hot enough as it is on a regular day. And I thought, I think at least for me, I would have worn a wig to make other people feel comfortable. And I didn't want to do that. I was 53 when I got diagnosed. I'm 56 now. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to rock a bald head. And it turns out I have a really cute round head. So if I ever have a weird hair thing, I'll just shave my head again. But when you're a middle-aged woman in Vermont with a bald head, you might as well get a neon sign over your head that says, yes, I'm getting chemotherapy. Because people are just like, what are you doing? I'm like, it's just a bald head, like relax. And these little kids would be like, "Look at you." And I finally turned to this one kid and I said, just ask. Like, what? I said, well, just have him ask. It's okay to ask. This is rude. Asking, not so much. So he said, why don't you have any hair? And I said, I'm taking medicine that made it fall out. He's like, okay. So simple. So I'm just going to tell you this one story quick. We found out that I had cancer, and my girlfriend and I had already planned a trip to go to Cat Island in the Bahamas. And it worked out perfectly because we got back on March 10th and my surgery was on March 12th. So Cat Island in the Bahamas is this little spit of a gorgeous little island. We had rented a house. What you do when you get there is they take you to the local supermarket on the island, which sucks. And I had been to Cat Island before, and I said to my partner, I said, look, we're going to have to bring our own food, some of it. So we brought we're lesbians. We brought grains because that's what we do. Grains. We brought lots of grains, and we brought like the bases for everything. But we got to Nassau, and my girlfriend realized that, we still need stuff to cook with that we had. And so we go to like what the equivalent of Whole Foods is, and we shop like we're on a game show because we have like 15 minutes before we have to catch our next flight. She's like, okay, get a frozen chicken. And we're like throwing stuff across the aisle, and we get like chicken broth and peanut butter and milk and veggies, and we got a frozen chicken, and she brought bags from our co-op, reusable bags. I'm like, we couldn't be gayer if we tried. Get to the airport, and we're the only people checking in. And the woman behind the counter, the security person says, whose bags are these? And we're like, those are ours. She's like, these are really heavy. What's in them? And I looked at her and I thought, I have one chance at this. And I leaned across the counter to her and I said, it's food. It's organic food. It's broth. It's peanut butter, because I'm having breast cancer surgery 2 days after. And I want to make sure that I eat right while I'm down here. And she looks at me and she takes my arm. She's like, a really important cause. Cancer patients need this. There's a text number somewhere floating around. Text to give. It's really simple. Thank you very much.
Yay.
Woo! Woo! Good job. Good job.
Hold on.
Oh my gosh. That was so endearing. I think your presentation makes everybody love you so much and understand. Anyway, all the comedians were great. Let's give a big hand to all the comedians. They're all wonderful. And if you have any, you can put them on the chat room, and we're going to have a question and answer thing. And Jeff will read off the questions if there are any. And I'm sure the comedians will be happy to answer the questions.
Now you got to look at me instead of all these really nice, beautiful comedians. We'd like to thank you all for coming and supporting Patient Empowerment Network and finding out how cancer can be really good medicine. I'm sorry, comedy can be really good medicine for cancer. And I'm no comedian. I know it's changed our life, and it's been a real big portion of what we're advocating. Just like, I think it was Mickey that said, you can't let cancer control you. And all of these comedians found that they started controlling their lives again when they got into comedy. So we'd really like to thank you for coming, and thank you for your support. And that's our show for the evening. Thank you.